All right, so it is that time of the year when you and I, us photographers, we run around like crazy trying to get those classic Bluebell in the woods shots with the fantastic light coming in, blah, 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 blah. You know the kind of photo I'm talking about. Well, this was my opportunity the other night to go out and get that kind of photograph. It's not that classic genre where it's panoramic with in a dense forest and it's all enchanted and mystical and magical, but this is my take on it because I'm not privileged enough to live by a woodland that's a bit like that. So this is my take on it. I did have a gorgeous sunset, and I think what we'll do is we'll go through and edit this together and share some tips and tricks. So let me just show you what the actual scene was like there. So this is the scene, top of a hill, a woodland, just slightly into the woods. And this is me basically with the camera on the tripod. I've got my 16mm on, 16mm lens. Can't quite tell you what the focal length was, but we'll find out later. And this is essentially me trying to find a strong composition with these two trees. And what attracted me to the scene is, and it'll become apparent later on in the video, is there is a skin of moss on the trunk and the light's coming through. You probably see it there. So I was really impressed by the way the light was coming through. And all I'm doing at the scene really is making sure I get a sharp as possible image and I collect as much light information in a series of photos as I possibly can. Because we've got quite shadow areas uh, on the old scene and we've got bright lights coming through, I am actually going through and taking multiple exposures. What I'd actually done is I'd got my aperture on this down to f8, and you can see I've taken 3 exposures, a third of a second to get the details and the shadows, a tenth of a second as kind of like the safety shot where you can see all the information in the mids uh, are gathered. Not the mids as in tones, but the middle ground as in the light, the dynamic range, if you know what I mean. So if we go back to this one, we look at the histogram, we're not clipping off any of the shadows. We are clipping off the highlights. The highlights are clipped to fuck basically, but you can see as you go along the histogram and then the highlights, not clipping out any highlights, but obviously there's no details in the shadows. Hopefully when they're put together as a high dynamic range, a high dynamic range image, which I'll do now, we can get the best of all 3 worlds. So if I just go down to HDR merge, and these were all took at aperture f8. Didn't change the composition, didn't move the tripod, didn't change the focal length, and ISO 100. So the constants were don't move the composition, keep it at the same ISO, keep it at the same aperture. Because I'm quite far away from any objects as well, the hyperfocal length or the ability to get everything in focus from front to back is pretty much okay. So there's no focus stacking going on. It's just 3 exposures, one for the shadows, one for the middle range in the dynamic range, and one for the highlights. Now with the HDR merge and the auto settings applied, it's not giving us a bad starting place. And just while we're here, if we zoom into the leaves, there was a little bit of wind at the scene, which is unfortunate when you're trying to expose your bracket. And as you can see, as a consequence, I've got my de-ghost amount set quite high. Now, if I lower that, we have quite a lot of ghosting. See these white outlines? That's between one exposure and the next, where obviously the trees moved. So we are going to pump the de-ghosting amount up quite high, and hopefully we'll get away with it. So on this occasion, I think even though it's given us quite a good result, I'm going to take off the auto settings just so if your exposure bracketing and your high dynamic range doesn't come out as good as this, you know kind of how to recover it. We'll go through the motions of just starting from scratch. Let's not let Lightroom do it. Let's do it ourselves. So untick the apply auto settings, and then I'm going to merge that together. Now, because there is quite a lot of detail in this image, I'm not going to give it any sharpening. Okay, so what that should have done is create another photo for us. Now, be careful you don't start working on one of your exposures and you actually work on the high dynamic range image. And one of the ways in which I find that out is if I click on the one that's just been presented to me, I go to information, we can see that it's the file name that the camera gave it, and then HDR, high dynamic range. So there's been many a time when I've only been working on one of the exposures and I'm like, why can't I pull back the shadows and the highlights? Well, it's because I've not been working on the high dynamic range image. So first thing I'm going to do is just recover some of these highlights, pull back some of these shadows, and then just increase the exposure slightly just to give us a nice starting ground. Now with this photo, it's quite detailed. There's quite a lot of edges and a lot happening in it. So I'm not going to apply any sharpening to it. But what I am going to do while I'm on this main edit page is just give it my favorite Adobe color profile, which is the Adobe landscape profile. And to me, it just gives that, it just makes the colors pop. It just does something that I like. You might be different, so you can experiment. And then because there's so much detail, I think I'm going to straight away go to texture and just trim it down. And it might not be apparent on whatever device you're watching this on, but it just settles down the chaos, if that makes sense. It just takes away all the nasty, sharp, gnarly edges, and gives it a bit more of a dreamlike, ethereal look. It's very subtle, but you will notice it in the final print. So now that we've got a good starting base for our photo, we can start applying masks, making certain areas darker, making certain areas lighter, all so that we can draw the viewer into really where we want them to look. And that is basically for them to see the bluebells in the foreground and look up and see that sunset and that sunspot between the trees. So I think I'm just going to crop it, only because in the composition at the moment the trees look a bit lanky. So I'm always doing 2:3, which is really bad. I should start doing other aspect ratios. So I'm going to try a 3:4. I'm going to make sure I get all this nice detail of the bluebells, and then it just takes out that bit, those top of those tree trunks that are not really adding to the story, and the sky, all the lightness and the specular highlights in the sky. I want to try and get rid of that a little bit as well. So now that I'm happy with the composition, I'm just going to give the photo a little bit of vibrance, like so, just to bring out some of those richer colours. Probably not going to touch the saturation, and because we've got these unique colours of the bluebells, these like violets and blues, I'm just going to lighten those up using the colour mixer. So if I come down into the colour mixer with blue selected, I'm just going to raise the luminance of the bluebells, and then the violet ones we've got on the backlit ones. For violet, I'm just going to increase the luminance ever so slightly, and then you can see we've got all this gorgeous detail in this photograph. How it transpires on your display screen, I don't know, but it is really detailed. And now I think it's just a case of adding masks just to hone the viewer's attention down to what we want to see, basically. So if we go to masks, first thing I'm going to do is get a radial gradient and then just lighten up this foreground, and that will help hopefully bring the bluebells out a little bit. So ever so subtly just bring that up. Do we need to adjust the color temperature because we've got this beautiful golden hour sunset? You know what, I think we're gonna, because it's a little bit shady, I'm gonna leave that a little bit more blue and give those bluebells a bit more of a chance to be blue rather than adjusting the natural color of them. Next thing I'm going to do is what I usually do with this kind of composition on a wide angle lens, is just draw quite a big linear gradient, but then just drag it down so it's subtle at the bottom, and then quite simply just put the exposure down ever so slightly. We're only being very subtle with these adjustments, just kind of stops the viewer's eye falling off the bottom of the photograph, and we're bringing the viewer's attention more into the center and onto that beautiful sunset. What I am going to do is just bring out those backlit leaves and flowers behind the trees. So again, a radial gradient just in like the mid ground, and then just ever so slightly bring up the exposure. You can see that it's brought those backlit plants and leaves out a lot better. Now what I usually tend to do with every photo as well is another radial gradient right from the center, drag it out nice and big, and increase the kind of like feathering, what you would call it, the center bit of the radial gradient basically. I'm going to invert it because I then want to just darken off the edges of the image. I could use the vignette on the main editing page, but this I feel gives me more control of where I can move the vignette around. So just want to move it there, and I think a before and after. It's probably just a bit too dark. Let's bring it up a bit to around about there. And then I think looking at it, the sky is just a little bit too dim for my liking, seeing that we've got that brilliant sun star and sunlight in the background. So again, another linear gradient, nice and simple. I'm just going to bring it down to about there, and then I'm going to put the exposure up, and I might just give that a little bit of golden color. What I'm going to do is probably remove this bit of weed with the remove tool, only because it is a slight distraction. So if I do that, subtract and remove, yeah, I'm happy with that. Probably gonna leave it, come back tomorrow, see if I'm still happy with it. Do I tweak it? Probably not. So if we take off all the edits, go back to how we started, that is our original from our high dynamic range capture out in the field, and that is what we've ended up with. Again, with this, there was a certain degree of planning. You know, I had to scout out a field, a woodland that had bluebells. I had to scout out where the sunset was going to be and what time. And I did kind of have a vision in my mind before I even set out. So this wasn't the random, let me take my photo, let me take my camera out and see where it takes me. I've wanted to get a shot like this. I've always wanted to get that bluebell photo under my belt. Again, it's not the panoramic one with the sun spread through the bluebell fields with the deep woodland. And when you're there, you've just got to make sure, you know, getting the composition is one thing, but if you're shooting into the sun, you've got to make sure you capture the information for the shadows, the mids as kind of like a safety net, and then the highlights. And it's all about getting it in focus from front to back. And you've also got your aperture correct on each exposure and your ISO the same on each exposure. I'm talking out my arse now, so I'm just going to shut up and let you enjoy the photo. Thanks for watching.